We are live.
We're live, y'all. I'm still just kind of flabbergasted about what, the death toll that keeps growing every single day in Texas, right? In that area where they had the floods, and so many kids, and it appears that it was totally preventable. Maybe not 100%, but at least better than what we got.
Yeah, it seems like the warning systems and all the stuff that was supposed to be in place from different things that I've read were lacking.
Exactly. And it is exact result of the cuts made by this regime. And every time something tragic happens, we're told, don't make it political. Well, it is political because everything is politics. Politics is how resources are allocated, right? And these resources were not allocated. And unfortunately, because of that, babies died. Babies died. And then Mexico had to send over its people to help look for folks because the United States ain't got their stuff together because MAGA doesn't know how to govern. Bottom line. So that got us to thinking like, okay, are the countries that we are considering or the countries that we are currently living in, are they investing in infrastructure? Are they investing in preparedness and emergency preparedness and all of these things, right? Like I would hate to get out of the frying pan and go into the fire.
Well, I've noticed, and you have too, the water project is going on here in Lisbon, where you see all the construction. And those of you who have been here and went back and forth down by Commercial Square and stuff like that, and you saw the walls being set up and they're doing all kind of construction. Well, that's for flooding.
Yeah.
Because Lisbon floods.
Yes, it does. Lisbon definitely floods. Thankfully, we're at the top of one of the 7 hills, so we don't have to worry about it. But today is Legend Thursday. Y'all know that, all right? And so we are going to bring on our Utopian Legends. If you are a member of this channel, thank you. If you are a legend, you know that you can find the link to backstage in the posts. So we're going to bring on our legends momentarily. Let's see where they went. I don't know. Folks just disappeared. But first, let's introduce ourselves. Hey, y'all. My name's Halise.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money. We talk about travel and life abroad. We help folks look like us who are getting close to retirement age and forgot to get their money straight so that they can retire on time or maybe even abroad.
Early is good too.
All right, sweetie. So what are we talking about today?
So, the Texas floods just expose what we all need to do. We need to research before moving abroad and find about what they have in store for their emergency preparedness.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I was saying earlier, I know Lisbon is doing a lot of work to get sewers and stuff together because they flood. And they flood bad.
Right.
Also, we have earthquakes here in Lisbon, believe it or not, back in the 1700s, was it? Or earlier?
Yeah, 1700s, what, the earthquake.
They had that crazy big-time earthquake. Of course, infrastructure was a whole lot different then, too.
Right.
But I sat here in our apartment and swayed back and forth.
Well, I haven't felt an earthquake here.
You were out of town. Actually, you were
in
California.
I was in LA.
But we're from California, too, so
we're used to it.
We're used to it.
So we're going to bring on our legends right now, and we do have some kind of tools to help you do some research about the country that you are thinking about, or the countries that you are thinking about. Not only the countries, but also the cities and everything else. All right. So with that, let's see who is ready to come on stage. Antonia, are you there? And I don't know if Sanji is there. So
I'm here.
Okay, you're blurred out for some reason.
Oh, wait.
I think you need to come closer to the camera or turn off your blur. Yeah.
Let's see.
So hey everyone, we see you in the chat. And then let us know if there's something on this list that we've forgotten. Let us know. But so Antonia, what country again are you thinking about?
Lisbon, Portugal.
Okay, so you are thinking about Portugal. Um, so I think one of the things that I'm gonna be honest, we've got our Move Abroad Toolkit. I'm gonna add this stuff to our Move Abroad Toolkit because I truly, truly didn't think about it until this happened. Because in America, the preparedness, the emergency preparedness has basically been pretty good, right? It's not like we saw Katrina, we saw that nonsense. And we learned from it, right? We learned from it. So you kind of get, lackadaisical, and it's like, oh, we've got the sirens, we've got this, blah blah blah, whoop de whoop, until you don't, right? Until you don't. So there are things that you guys should think about. So we're just going to name them really, really fast, just the basic things, and then talk about how you can research them. So physical infrastructure, like here in Lisbon, the April 25th bridge is built for earthquakes. Vasco da Gama bridge, not so much. So that's what the locals tell us. So physical infrastructure, drainage and flood control, utilities, road and transportation quality, right? Are there, the roads getting in and out? Are they good roads? Will they withstand, right? Are they going to be up to snuff?
Yeah, emergency service and response systems.
Yep.
How are they available of EMS? Or they might call them something different here. The number and quality of ambulances, which there are plenty of. There's a lot of ambulance, fire departments, and search and rescue.
Yep.
Disaster response protocols. Are there government plans in place? Are drills held? Emergency communication systems. Do they use SMS alerts, sirens, radio and television?
When we were in Italy, we got a text message about the Pope.
Continuously.
Yep. Yeah, we did. And then proximity to hospital, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So number 3, government capacity and coordination. Do they have a national disaster agency? Is there interagency coordination? Corruption and performance ratings, like what we can look these things up. Past disaster responses, how have they handled responses in the past?
Yeah, climate risk and geographical exposures.
Right.
Frequency of natural disasters, earthquakes, floods, wildfires. They have wildfires here too.
Yeah, they do. That when you talk about frequency of natural disasters, for some reason Haiti comes to mind. It seems like they just cannot catch a break in Haiti between the earthquakes and then the hurricanes. It's like, geez Louise. So location-specific vulnerabilities, climate change adaptation, all these things, because I don't know that. I know that area was flood prone already, right? The area in Texas was flood prone. They said that.
Right.
But then we also know that the 2 or 3 folks at their local NOAA office or wherever hadn't been replaced since Doge laid people off and people took early retirements, and then there was nobody there to give them a warning. So number 5,
social preparedness and community resilience.
Right. So is the community aware and educated? Is there a volunteer network? Language barriers.
Yeah.
Like when we were getting alerts on our phone, it was in Italian, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
But we knew what it was saying because we saw the Pope part, and you could probably get from context what they were saying. But if they were saying, streets are going to be closed, the trains aren't running, and this and that, and started going into detail, we might not have understood all of those directives.
Yeah.
And then the last one.
Are there expat support networks, support systems? Do you have expats there that you can count on and share information with, and they will share information with you?
I mean, do we even still have an embassy in South Africa?
I don't know.
Y'all in the chat, do we have an embassy in South Africa? I know that they kicked the South African ambassador out of America,
Right.
right?
I heard they were slowly closing some.
See, and that's the thing, especially when you think about, which countries are we quote unquote friends with? Which countries do we have tax treaties with, right? Which countries, could we potentially have dual citizenship with? And all this stuff, like that list is going to start getting smaller and smaller and smaller, unfortunately,
Right.
right? And then you add to this, making sure that these countries, like if you go, that you don't end up in a situation like the poor people down in Texas. Now, sometimes shit just happens,
Right.
but you got to assess the risk, right? And so there's an international ratings tools, and you can use these indexes to help you assess your country's readiness. So the World Risk Report, UNU-EHS, evaluates exposure, vulnerability, and coping capacity. The next one is
Global Health Security Index.
that assesses a country's ability to handle pandemics and stuff like that. And then you've got the Informed Risk Index that ranks disaster risk and institutional readiness. And then lastly,
You have the World Bank IMF Disaster Risk Financing. Shows how prepared the country is financially for disasters.
exactly. So yeah, stethoscope travels. There are earthquakes or is there an earthquake at in Lisbon? Oh, I don't know. Like so I don't, when I lived in California on a regular basis, there was no such thing as a mobile app. So
In Portugal, they are a apps type society. There's apps for everything, so I'm sure there is something that you could probably. It's probably a government app that you can go to.
maybe not. Who knows? I don't know.
I can't offhand remember what they.
If so, it seems like we would have heard of it, but not necessarily. Not necessarily. Action VJ, have you heard about anything like that? Bobby, have you heard about anything like that? Yeah, I don't know. So I want to hear from you all. What else would you be thinking about? What else would you be concerned about? Antonia, had you thought about any of these things?
I have. Well, it's information overload, actually. Um, it's pretty sad because now they're talking about, and I keep hoping that I misheard, but now they're talking about stopping the search here in Texas. Hopefully not, because I think it's only been 6 days. But I keep waiting to hear the reasoning behind that. But it's funny because we have the government here, and I know it starts at the top. The government here has millions and millions in the rainy day fund. So I don't quite understand why they don't like to, or as far as I know, they don't like to use that money or haven't used that money. But they have the money. Why they're
I mean,
not?
come on, Antonia. You know why they're not using it. So Jametta said we can't see Antonia's face. So
Tilt
I
your
don't know if you
camera
want
down.
to tilt
Oh,
your
you
camera down.
can't? I'm sorry.
No, we see your top of your head.
We could see your nose and your glasses, and
There you go.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
There you go.
What's that?
So
I don't know.
You know why? Yes, you do. Because they don't care. Because they don't care.
Well, they're probably misappropriating it like everything else.
That could be. There could be some corruption. The money might not, like the money might be there on paper. I don't know, right? Like we know there's corruption at all levels, right? I've been so disappointed in the Democratic Party lately that I can't even talk that. I mean, at least they try to follow the rules, but I'm just so disappointed in them. I just don't know what to do. But yeah, these people, it just seems like cruelty is the point. And I know that a lot of people have been saying that, but
Mm-hmm.
what did they
Yep.
think was going to happen? What did they think was going to happen? If, like, if they still believe that Reagan nonsense, that government is the problem, right? And that, I mean, government sometimes is the problem, but not a blanket statement. They actually do things that we cannot do individually, that is for the common
that
good,
we need. That's what
right? That we need. That's what they should be there for those big, huge things
Right.
that individuals can't handle, like this kind of situation, like announcing whether a hurricane is coming, or a tsunami is coming, or a tornado is coming, or a flash flood warning is serious enough that you guys need to kick out 2 o'clock in the morning with all them babies sleep. Don't make no kind of sense.
Pitch black.
Right. And so, like, people, you need to be making plans, and this is part of making plans to get the out, or have a backup plan, y'all, because the things that they are saying, it is interesting to me that the media is not taking seriously what these folks have been saying. You need to take them seriously, right? Like, I mean, Home Chick said, no, we don't keep rounding up these Latinos. We don't keep rounding them up off the farms and hospitality and all that. Yeah, they got to go. Oh, but who's gonna pick the food? Them 35 million people who are on Medicaid. Those
Yeah, they
those
said
35 million.
if they want Medicaid, they can pick that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Yep,
what they
you
said.
better go pick that fruit.
Terrible, terrible. But that's a whole other conversation.
Somebody has got to pick it. But see, they think that 35 million all look like us.
That's another conversation too. That would
They're gonna
be
be in
forced
for a
labor.
rude awakening,
That would be forced labor.
right? Well, that's what they're planning on doing.
I was going to say, at this
That
point,
is
who
what they're
cares? They
planning
don't
on
care.
doing.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what they're
That's
planning.
right. And then Trump said, the farmers will own their people. They'll own them. They'll be in charge. You're right. They'll own them. Right. They're saying out loud what they're planning to do, and people are still walking around like this is business as usual.
It's not. Yeah.
So do your Googles, people. Do your Googles. You can do a Google search for building codes. Put in the country. Put in earthquake, flood, hurricane. Right. And see what their codes are. Look for reports or articles from World Bank, Unhabitat, or Global Facilities for Disaster Reduction and Recovery. That's GFDRR. D as in dog. Global Facility for Disaster Reduction and Recovery. Okay, do your Googles. And I think we're going to start adding this when we do our best cities. We're going to start adding some of this information in there because, like I said, you just don't think about it.
And when you're in the thick of it, it's too late because you're just.
Right. You've got to have a go bag. One chick was online talking about they did have a go bag, and her partner, boyfriend, whatever, made it out. They got the ones and it was floating. They had like a log in there and everything else. So they were able to, survive for 24 hours until they got rescued. Somebody is saying, okay, so Action VJ said he hasn't heard of an earthquake app. Yeah, I haven't heard of an earthquake app here either. But somebody was saying that they were concerned about sudden protests breaking out. There it is. Sudden protests breaking out. And
that's a concern. It should be a concern.
I mean, like, the question the I wouldn't be concerned about a protest breaking out or a demonstration breaking out.
Maybe
I
they
would be
mean
concerned
violence.
the response to it,
Yes,
because it's usually not the demonstrators. It's usually the response that makes it turn violent.
right.
And so that would be my question. How does
Maybe
this
that's what
government
they're maybe
respond?
that's what they're thinking.
It could be, right? How does this government respond to
Right.
civil unrest? How does this government respond when people are trying to exercise some speech? And I can't say freedom because we don't have freedom of speech in the United States, and I know there's some countries you don't have 100% freedom of speech. You just don't.
And I think that's what they're leaning towards anyway. Um, that's what they want to do. Right now, they've been kind of mild, but I think that's what they're trying to lean towards. Um, and sometimes you gotta kind of watch what you wish for, um, especially when you know that what they're really wanting is to get rid of the brown, and they think that they're going to have the black out there doing the jobs that the brown are out there in the fields doing. That's not going to turn out so well. Um,
You think?
ah, no, that's not going to turn out so. Return to the Gilded Age. That's not going to turn out so well at all.
Not
Even
the
if
way
it's
they think it's going to
forced,
happen.
no, even if it's forced labor, I mean, that's why they're building so many, private prisons. It's,
It's concentration camps, right? Like somebody was saying, follow the money. Right after the election, the first thing that they did was to see what sector went way up in stock prices, and of course, it was the private prison sector.
mhm,
It's disgusting. Private prisons should be
it is.
illegal. They should be
It should
illegal,
be. It
right?
should be,
Christine is saying it's population control. Now, I don't know, Greta, I don't know about them engineering the weather. That sounds like some Marjorie Taylor Greene stuff. Because Marjorie Taylor Greene said, I think she said the Jewish people shot some stuff up in the air and made it rain over Texas really heavy in 2 seconds or whatever. I don't know.
But weather can be engineered.
Yeah, I know weather can be engineered, but it's not like private people got access to this
Well, no,
stuff.
what Marjorie Taylor
Like
Greene.
who? Like if the government is doing that, who's the government? MTG, you bitch, you
but
the government, your people.
what's the end result though for them
You
to
are
do
what
that?
the right? Like what's the why? Right? Like what's the point? Exactly. I don't know. To create chaos? I don't know. Because they don't want to talk to their base about the fact that the melon felon is in the pedophile in the pedophile files. So they quickly start talking about something else. Let's talk about something else. Let's put some Marines in the park where the kids are having their camp and their birthday parties and stuff like that in LA. Let's have them
Just
marching through there.
ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Right? They don't care about us.
Ridiculousness.
It really is. It really is. Um,
But people do need to have their go bags. If they don't have their passports, they really need to get them.
Hmm.
My whole thing is just to, get your passports as quickly as you can, because my fear is that they're going to close the borders before we can get out. That's my fear. Or that, whatever countries that you want to go to aren't going to let us,
come.
come in.
Exactly.
Especially with, you know, he who shall not be named is doing stupid stuff with the tariffs, and I think he
Yeah.
does that just to make the stock market fluctuate so that, they can keep
I think he really believes what
benefiting.
he's saying. I like
Yeah.
maybe the hit the off and on, the off and on, the off and on, maybe for
Yeah.
manipulation. But he's been talking about
Right.
these damn tariffs since the '80s. that man has been on the 8-track. Remember 8-track tapes? He's been on had that
He's
8-track tape in from the from the 80s talking about them
and
damn
it can't
tariffs.
eject. It won't eject. He's
It
just
won't eject. It's stuck in there. It's stuck because he's got dementia, so it's stuck in
just
there. He's on a
so
loop. He's on a
ridiculous.
loop. It really is ridiculous. And I don't think that you're being hyperbolic. I was just thinking earlier today. The first time I really started talking about this was at Exodus Summit in October 2024. And I remember there was somebody in the chat who was saying, "Are we going to hear from the other side?" I wonder what that woman is saying right now. Yeah, and of course, Rashida. Rashida said, "Nah, we ain't hearing from the other side. The other side ain't got nothing to say that we want to hear." Right. And it's interesting because it's like I never brought up partisanship. I never brought that up. I was just talking about how if fascism is coming. What does it look like? And unfortunately, the examples pointed to the felon from
Yeah.
27 from the first time. 1.0, right? And so people got up in their feelings about it. And then we started talking about it on this channel, right? And people got up in their feelings about it. And they were like, "You're just fear mongering, you're doing this and you're doing that, and you saying this and you saying that." And here we are. You knew that the situation was bad, like that white folks did not care about white folks when Sandy Hook happened. Like, to me, that was going to be the thing. That was going to be the thing. There was no way that they were going to let all those little bitty white babies die in vain without passing some substantial gun safety reform laws. But no. Oh no.
Yeah,
No.
that shows you how pro-life they are.
Exactly.
That shows exactly
How
how pro-life
pro-life
they
they
are.
are.
No.
What, you got to be an embryo to have
Fetus.
the rights to live?
Pro fetus.
Fetus.
Pro
Exactly. Now,
fetus.
we being facetious because they are pro fetus or anti abortion. They do not care about life
Because once
because
that
it's
baby comes out, they don't
you
care.
don't get no health care. You don't, like, if your mama can't afford health care, too bad for you. If she can't afford and your mom and daddy can't afford food, too bad for you. If they can't afford, like, if you live in a bad neighborhood, can't go to a good school, too bad for you.
Darn.
Right? Your mama and daddy shouldn't have been booping in the first damn place. That's what they believe. That's what they believe. So yeah.
Terrible. Terrible.
Right. And so all of those times we had people up in the comments talking about we were fear mongering. And
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. Here we are. We've got like 5 to 10 elected officials who have been manhandled by ICE and or detained, right? We've got the so-called justice for the people, right? Pressing charges against sitting Congress people who are innocent of what they're talking about. We've got trumped up charges because they got caught lying and incompetent when it comes to these deportations. They told the truth, then tried to trump something up because they got caught with, like,
Feel so
this.
bad for those people.
It's
Feel
just crazy. It is crazy. But we were fear mongering. And now we got more folks dead. And I tell you,
And it's just the tip.
this is just a tip. I don't believe in FAFO when it comes to life, y'all. I refuse to become numb like they are. I refuse not to have humanity and show, humanness, love towards these folks, even if I think they voted for what they got. Because then I'm like them, and I refuse to sell my soul and have them snatching my soul with their evilness. Hello. So The other thing you can do is you can do a Google map, a street map walk, and see and assess the building conditions and stuff like that, and also participate in expat forums. Y'all, we are on Facebook. It's Our Black Utopia's Fire Over 50, but I'm not sure we're going to be on there for too much longer. I just found out something else about Facebook that just pissed me off. Some other dirty deeds that they're doing to our brothers and sisters in Nigeria. And so, we just need, it's hard to divest from Meta 100%. But so if you all have some suggestions on where else we can congregate and lift each other up on this path to financial independence and life abroad, let us know. Let us know in the chat. If you're watching from the future, hey, hope your future's great. Let us know in the comments. So really quickly, investigate emergency services. So just Google emergency service response time and the country, EMS capacity and the country. Okay. You can search for earthquake response, emergency response, and the country, et cetera, et cetera. Y'all know how to do this. And we gave you those indices to look up. The World Bank Unhabitat Global Facility for Disaster Reduction and Recovery. So start there, y'all, because what we don't want is as we are trying to encourage you to seek freedom, to real freedom outside of the United States, we don't want you to get into a situation where the preparedness and the infrastructure is as shabby as it was down there in Texas, in that county. Okay, that's what we don't want for you. So it sounds like Antonia is responding to somebody in the chat. So I muted you. But we are at time. Do you want that? That's okay. We are at time.
I was going to respond to you. Put it in the chat. That did you know that?
The private chat.
Once that that who signed that stupid bill into law, that Meta, which is Zuckerberg, got a check for 15 billion.
See?
That made me sick.
See? It's just disgusting. It's just
that
disgusting.
Made me
right?
So I got nauseated.
See? It's disgusting. It is disgusting. The level of the corruption that exists in this regime, and it's all out in the open and nobody's calling it. It's like, we just gonna do this. What you gonna do? I mean, that's how they're acting. So Greta's suggesting either Gumroad or School, spelled SCKOOL. And then Jante, fan base is problematic for me. I know we talked about fan base before, but then I did some research on Baby Boy, and I'm not liking some of the stuff that I've seen. So
what do you do?
I don't want to talk about it online.
Oh, well.
Yeah, but y'all can Google it. Y'all can Google it, but and that breaks my heart because I really, really, really wanted to support that situation. I really did, but unfortunately, I don't know. But Meta, they are creating sweatshops, AI sweatshops in Nigeria. They have created. And paying these people like $2 an hour. Now, of course, I was looking. This is a 60 Minutes report. It's like 2 years old, but still, I'm sure. Oh yeah, John Tay, it's all good. But I'm sure that the situation probably has not improved that much.
I wonder why do they allow that?
Why does Nigeria allow it, or why does Meta allow it? Nigeria, because they need about 1 million. Okay, I see it. They need about 1 million jobs created every year in order to keep up. Yeah, thank you, Carla Brown, for becoming a member. We really appreciate it. So our members hang out with us backstage every Sunday before we go live, and we chitty chat, just like we're chitty chatting with Antonia right now, but with more people. And then for those who are legend status, you get to come on and chat with us on air every other Thursday. So thank you. We appreciate y'all. And we're going to let you go so you can go over and chitty chat with Krishan at Blacks at Global. But y'all, so the key takeaway here is when you get, I'm going to add this to the Move Abroad Toolkit. It's not going to be overnight because we just thought about this earlier as we were talking. But do your Googles. If you're coming in late, rewind it and go listen to all the data banks and stuff that we gave you and how to do the search. So before you move, you know that the country that you're moving to actually is not being austere and putting people in harm's way the way the melon felon is to folks in the United States, right? You don't want to get out of the frying pan and into the fire. If you still have more questions and you need help putting a Move Abroad plan together, we offer one-on-one coaching. That information is in the chat and in the description below. We have a ready to retire toolkit and a lot of free resources, though that information is in the description below as well. And anything else, sweetheart?
Oh, no. We have membership. Join us in our membership.
Yep. Yeah, we do. And Antonia is one of them. We love y'all. We love y'all, and we will see you on Sunday. I cannot wait. I'm not going to tell you what we're going to talk about, but I think I'm thinking that we're going to do a new best cities. We have not done a best city since 2023, and a lot of things have changed. So we're gonna be looking at this information. We're going to be looking at freedom scores, right? Especially with what's going on in the United States. We're going to look at financial and political stability. We're going to be looking at acceptance of others and all that kind of information. So I think that that's what we're going to be talking about on Sunday. With that, we love y'all, and we'll let you go. Bye.
Bye.